Hey, Loan with Jen Hernandez, FHA Loan Requirements in 2020. Stay tuned. Okay, we're back. 2020, it's been a unforgettable year. Here is the current news of exactly what's going on with FHA loans. FHA again stands for Federal Housing Administration. It's just one of two types of loans. The other type is conventional. We're just talking about FHA today. We're talking about FHA Loan Requirements 2020. So credit, that's the main thing. FHA will allow down to a 580 score, but what's happened in 2020 is COVID. So a lot of lenders have wanted to alleviate risk in their portfolios. We saw a time in March and April where many lenders were upping their requirements a lot. And so now we're midsummer, things have settled down to where most lenders are 620 or 640 for their minimum credit score for FHA. So not all companies are created equal on this. So if you're a borrower that has credit scores that are below 640, you definitely want to get some referrals to different local lenders to see who can help you with that. We've got another video about credit and why your credit score that you're seeing is not the same as what a lender's going to pull, but you can watch that on our YouTube channel, Loan with Jen. Be sure to subscribe. Okay, continuing, FHA loan requirements in 2020. First, again, minimum credit score. The other thing, debt to income ratio. So that is gross income versus gross monthly payments on your debts. That has not changed. It is still 55% for most people. The reason I say most is that all of the borrowers have to be calculated through a automated underwriting system. This has not changed. So all of your monthly debts and all of your monthly income is used for this calculation. It cannot exceed 55%, which is super, super generous. That's why people go FHA a lot of the times, is they have high debt. Okay, now remember, we do have to count the spouse's credit, whether or not they're on the loan. This is super important. If you are legally married, if it's your legal spouse, we must count their debts to qualify, regardless of them not being on the loan. We don't care what their credit score is. We just care what their monthly obligations are. So just something to keep in mind and talk to your local lender about. Okay, loan amount. Loan amount is different by county. I live in Houston, Texas, and so in our surrounding area, $331,750 is the limit. Check in what county you are. You can go to FHA.gov and type in FHA loan limits, and you're going to be able to find it with ease. So every county in the U.S. is different, but that's something to keep in mind. So that's the max loan amount that the FHA loan can be, okay? Seller credit. Sellers can contribute up to 6% of the purchase price in seller credit. So for example, if the purchase price is $200,000, that means up to $12,000 can be credited towards the buyer. But this is very important, FHA Loan Requirements 2020 cannot exceed the actual closing costs. So if the credit is $12,000, but the closing costs are only $8,500, the buyer can't get the $3,500 difference. So a couple creative things can happen. You can use extra money to buy down the interest rate, or you can lower the sales price. But keep in mind, the seller credit cannot go over the amount of the closing costs. So make sure you talk to your local lender about that. Now, the last thing we're going to go in, we're almost at the end of FHA Loan Requirements 2020. Hang in there with me. This is super important about underwriting guidelines. These are a few things that we see make a difference for a lot of people between qualifying and not. So super important. Number one is job history. Lots of people are changing jobs or getting furloughed right now in 2020. If somebody has more than 3 jobs in 1 year, FHA puts a red flag up, and it's pretty much a denial without a really, really good explanation. So for the most part, that is a major red flag, someone who switches jobs a lot. So talk to your local lender about that. Student loans. Student loan balances, we have to count 1% of the balance in that debt to income ratio. So for example, we've had recently a client that has $300,000 in student loans. $3,000 was her monthly payment that she had to qualify with. So for that reason, a lot of people have to go conventional. So if you have high student loan debt, make sure that you're aware you might not be able to have an FHA loan. We might need to make sure you qualify for conventional. Now, the other thing to keep in mind, if you are leaving your current residence and you're planning on counting that rental income for qualification, can't do that on an FHA. So FHA does not allow the home that you're departing. Let's say you're going to collect $2,000 a month in rent, when you leave and vacate. We cannot count that as income towards your new purchase. You can in conventional in most cases, so that might be a reason to go conventional, but not on FHA. The very last thing we want to say, and we mentioned it before, spouses' credit must be pulled in FHA. So that's super important. We do have some spouses that might not live in the country, or they're here and they don't have a social security number. We still have to run their name through the database with a 000 social security number. So make sure to talk to your local lender about that. This concludes FHA Loan Requirements 2020. Please like, share, and subscribe. Talk to you soon. Legacy Mutual Mortgage is an equal housing opportunity lender. The opinions expressed here do not reflect those of Legacy Mutual Mortgage.